അമേരിക്കൻ പ്രസിഡന്റ് തെരഞ്ഞെടുപ്പ് പ്രചാരണത്തിന് ചൂട് പകർന്ന് കമല ഹാരിസ് ഡൊണാൾഡ് ട്രംപ് സംവാദം. വിവാദ വിഷയങ്ങളിൽ പരസ്പരം കടന്നാക്രമിച്ചുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഫിലാഡൽഫിയയിൽ നടന്ന സംവാദത്തിൽ ഇരു സ്ഥാനാർത്ഥികളും പങ്കെടുത്തത്. 1.5 മണിക്കൂർ നീണ്ടുനിന്ന സംവാദത്തിൽ ബൈഡൻ ഭരണകൂടം ഭ്രാന്തൻ നയങ്ങൾ കൊണ്ട് രാജ്യത്തെ നശിപ്പിച്ചെന്ന് ഡൊണാൾഡ് ട്രംപ് ആരോപിച്ചു. കമല ഹാരിസിനെ ഒരു ഘട്ടത്തിൽ മാർക്സിസ്റ്റ് എന്നാണ് ട്രംപ് വിശേഷിപ്പിച്ചത്. ട്രംപിനോടുള്ള അമേരിക്കൻ ജനതയുടെ മടുപ്പിന്റെ സൂചനയാണ് റാലികളിൽ കാണുന്ന ജനങ്ങളുടെ കുറവെന്നായിരുന്നു കമലയുടെ പ്രതിരോധം. ലോക നേതാക്കൾ ട്രംപിനെ നോക്കി ചിരിക്കുകയാണെന്നും കമല ഹാരിസ് തുറന്നടിച്ചു.
Air defense, the ammunition, the artillery, the javelins, the Abrams tanks that we have provided. Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. And understand what that would mean, because Putin's agenda is not just about Ukraine. Understand why the European allies and our NATO allies are so thankful that you are no longer president, and that we understand the importance of the greatest military alliance the world has ever known, which is NATO, and what we have done to preserve the ability of Zelensky and the Ukrainians to fight for their independence. Otherwise, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
And he wouldn't have lost 300,000 men and women, but he would have been sitting in Moscow. Quiet, please. He would have been sitting in Moscow much happier than he is right now. But eventually, you know, he's got a thing that other people don't have. He's got nuclear weapons. They don't ever talk about that. He's got nuclear weapons. Nobody ever thinks about that. And eventually, maybe he'll use them, and maybe he hasn't been that threatening, but he does have that. Something we don't even like to talk about. Nobody likes to talk about it. But just so you understand, they sent her to negotiate peace before this war started. 3 days later, he went in and he started the war because everything they said was weak and stupid. They said the wrong things. That war should have never started. She was the emissary. They sent her in to negotiate with Zelensky and Putin, and she did. And the war started 3 days later. And that's the kind of talent we have with her. She's worse than Biden. In my opinion, I think he's the worst president in the history of our country.